Hey guys, welcome back to the Work Wherever podcast. My name is Sydney. And this is Roy.
I'm Roy.
And today we're going to be talking about Microsoft Copilot and some new AI features within Microsoft, as well as tractors.
John Deere green tractors.
Perfect. Stay tuned, guys.
What's up, guys? Welcome into the Work Wherever podcast. I'm your host, Roy Edwards. This is a podcast where we talk about AI, artificial intelligence, the ability to work wherever so you can live every day like it's Saturday. And I am eating. I was eating on that intro. And I just want you to know who this is. I know we don't run ads, but my buddy owns this company, and it is Perillo Performance Energy Bar. This is the fudge brownie, and it's delicious. So good.
We're people too. We have to eat.
So, yeah, I do. If I were to run an ad, it would be for that, and then maybe this First Form energy drink. Other than that, zero ads.
Those are great. I really liked the orange one.
Great ads. They are pretty good, right?
Tasted like orange soda.
Yeah, not bad at all. And if you want to see that, go to our YouTube at Capital Presence. You'll be able to see what it is that I'm holding. And while you're there, you might as well just enroll in Online Academy so that you can get more information about what we're talking about here.
Turn it around so they can see the front of it.
There you go. So now all you YouTube people, you're
Hold
seeing
your hand
it.
behind it. There you go.
There? Is that how we do it?
So it's not blurry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go on over to YouTube, hit subscribe, like it while you're there. Add a couple comments in. You know, we will answer comments. Yeah. So if you guys have questions or anything like that, hit them there, and we'll make sure that they get them answered. And then subscribe to our learning platform while you're there, because we have a ton of stuff. You guys have been asking questions on the YouTube and communicating with us, and Sydney's done a great job of creating how-to videos. We can't answer every single one immediately, but for some of them, we've already answered them on our training platform, which is Online Academy.
Online 365 Academy.
Online365.academy. So go there, sign up. Have we launched our DevOps, or which courses are live there right now?
Not yet. So we've got Teams.
Teams, yep.
In there.
Teams
right
implementation.
now.
Microsoft Teams implementation.
We did get our first.
We have subscribers now.
Yeah,
we're a real platform.
Which she's in there and set up. I'm excited.
Even though we haven't pushed it, we have subscribers. You haven't seen a single ad or anything like that, so that's fun. We do have our Microsoft 365 Power Platform user training, or Power User training, which is low-code, no-code. Power Platform, guys, is low-code, no-code, which is, I'm talking about this right now because that's a big conversation about what we're going to be talking about today.
So we've got 365 and Teams in there right now.
And Teams. And then we have already in process to be released later on in the year a master class on business communication.
Yep.
And then a master class on introduction to DevOps.
Yes.
And then a few other ones on the docket as well around low-code, no-code, which is today's topic of du jour, is the low-code, no-code revolution, as some are calling it.
Big things. Did you know about that before I sent it to you the other day?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
Gotcha.
I'm a big, you're talking about the April Dunham thing?
Just Copilot in general.
Copilot, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. So I'll shout out April Dunham. She's been on a guest on this podcast 2 or 3 times. She's awesome. She's the Microsoft Power Platform advocate, and she just released a video on Copilot. That's what we have a little bit to talk about that today, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, hers was pertaining a little bit more to like Power Platform Copilot.
You're talking about Microsoft Copilot in general, not just total integration with.
That's a portion of it.
Yeah. So I think over a month ago, we talked about how the next wave of all this ChatGPT stuff is going to be AI, bots, and integrations. So chalk that another one up of what we called it, right? We had this one nailed. And Copilot is the next version. Copilot, I believe, is a premium subscription through Microsoft, which if you have the Power Platform user or app, the premium version of it, which is anywhere between $5 and $20 a user, then you get access to this Copilot and additional premium connectors. So we were all over that one. And then you have ChatGPT 4, which is the new iteration, which is a pay per use. At least there's premium versions of it. which we can get into that on a whole another podcast, because that got a little scary. You had another member of the AI community, tweet out and about how not only does ChatGPT understand how to unlock itself, but gave instructions to somebody of how to do it.
I read an article today that some college made their own like ChatGPT that's like basically the same for like $500.
It's not right. Like we talked about.
I'll see if I can
this,
find
you know?
that. But yeah, they like replicated it basically.
Yeah, look, the chatbots are like, they're not new or hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the data. How much data do you have, and does your bot have access to, and how correct is that data? That's the real part. So all these people who are like, oh, well, I can build a chatbot. Yeah, you can. I can build an AI. Absolutely. But what access does it have, and is it correct when it responds? Like, how correct?
Right.
Because we saw Google get pulled. We saw Facebook fiddling with potentially, or Meta, whatever they want to call themselves these days, potentially pulling it. It's all about how correct your bots are. And that's why GPT and GPT-4 have been so successful, is because their bots are pretty correct.
Super weird. I saw a Meta commercial on Hulu the other day.
Yeah.
They were like talking about like using it in the classroom. Everybody just has these headsets
Everybody got
on.
their stupid
So
little
strange.
glasses on. Oh, it's so stupid.
Which it is fun to play. We do have one. But
Oculus is like fun. Sure. It's a video game.
yeah, to like fish.
I'm not sold on this whole like Meta. Like Meta went all in on Metaverse.
Strange.
And they're like, wear the Oculus for. It's so stupid.
Gives me a headache if I
It's
wear
not real
more than like
business,
30
guys.
minutes. Yeah.
There's in no world do I see us putting on these stupid Oculus goggles to have a meeting with people. I know that there's this whole like, well, if you design in a 3D Max design of something and you want to put it on and play with it in real life, I don't buy it. I'm sorry. It's
Well, then you get into like, okay, I can play with it. I need to like touch it and stuff. Like you need like a whole bodysuit. I don't know.
Have you seen Iron Man?
Yeah.
You know how he's like doing the whole Jarvis thing?
Right.
Like, I
So
get the inspiration behind it.
And it does have that. So it has like hand tracking, right?
Right.
So you don't necessarily have to use the controls. Like,
Right.
you can just move your hands and it tracks it,
Yeah.
which is weird.
Microsoft had that technology like 10 years ago
Mm-hmm.
and noticed that they just haven't done anything with it. The whole like waving, it was called Connect, I believe is what it was called. Connect or Connects, I forget. But it was part of the Microsoft Xbox 360.
Mm.
And then Xbox One had it too. And then it went away. And Meta or Facebook is late to the party here, and they've invested so much money into this technology, which I think is a bad move, but we'll see. I've been wrong once or twice before, and it could work. It could work. Look, like, I'm just not sold on the whole goggles thing. I would never do it. I think that businesses who are trying to go all in on this digital world are realizing it's a bad idea.
A lot more sleek, like your brother-in-law. Have you seen those glasses that he has?
Yeah, I have. Those are cool.
They're like what are they? Like Ray-Bans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have that's one thing.
Strange.
But these goggles where I can't see what I'm doing or whatever's going on around me,
it's a lot.
I don't buy it. I think it's a beta product. I think it's an MVP. It's a proof of concept that they've invested a ton of money into, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's interesting for sure. But we have this low-code revolution, which we have a couple articles to talk about. This Copilot being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about John Deere Green. John Deere has been sued and lost.
Really, I need to bring this up.
Which is it all has to do with source code, which it's not so much a big deal that John Deere lost as it is the repercussions of the rest of this pay per subscription landscape that we've been talking about. So Tesla has their computers, right? You have your car, you got to bring it in, and the Tesla car is basically like a giant computer, and in order for you to update the software, then Tesla has you by the balls, basically. John Deere did a similar thing, but on tractors. And if you know who uses tractors, those people don't hire mechanics, right? They work on their own tractors. So what happened is John Deere came out with this model where you had to pay for your subscription. You could only get it serviced through the John Deere people. You could only update it through John Deere, through their source code, to make sure that their tractor was up and running. Well, the hardworking Americans who run tractors wanted to work on them themselves and sued John Deere and won. And so now John Deere has to hand over their source code so that they can't pigeonhole and force you to use them.
Right.
Do you have the article pulled up?
I do, yeah. John Deere urged to surrender source code under GPL. Farmers need a right to repair.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which, thank God for the farmers, because this has been going on in the Tesla markets, because this is bigger than tractors. This is the entire subscription model that so many tech companies have been going towards, to say the Tesla subscription package of, okay, you pay the subscription and you get all these updates, right? Mm-hmm. My Chevy has a subscription package, and I pay a subscription. It tells me when to do my oil, and it tells me all this stuff, right? Now, the logical next step would be, okay, well, you have to take it into us to get your oil changed. I can still change my oil on my Chevy.
Right.
But they could take it away, which is what John Deere tried to do.
Gotcha.
And they got nixed. They said, no, you cannot do that. So that is going to change path for a lot of these smart cars that we've had over the last however long. That, because the subscription-based model, we talked about that, where everything was going to go subscription-based. Cars, home, like home is rent, right? But
I am subscription-based.
Your subscription-based model.
I pay a month-to-month subscription.
Right. But it's like, but that's the idea. Like, what if we just, you've seen this posted a lot where we talk about the World Economic Forum, where they say you'll own nothing and like it. That's the model.
I like that.
The model is you'll own nothing and like it. Why? Because you'll be able to enjoy so much about life for a subscription. Cancel your subscription anytime. But you no longer own anything. And because you no longer own anything, you are a player in the game. And John Deere found out very quickly that that's not going to fly. So, is there any other information on it? Because I did want to touch on this. I thought it's less of something that we want to focus on for this podcast, and more of something that I want everyone to keep an eye on, because there's going to be more of these.
The Software Freedom Conservancy, SFC, has called upon farm equipment maker John Deere to comply with its obligations under the General Public License, GPL, which requires users such as software to share source code.
Yeah. Otherwise known as open source, which I believe Tesla has made their open source. And people were like, why would you do that? There was
ChatGPT is.
ChatGPT is open source.
I know, because it says in the name, I think, right?
It's, you have to. Or you're basically borderlining monopoly.
Yep.
Which Microsoft got blown up in the 80s or 90s, I think, as a monopoly. So this is something to keep an eye on, because a lot of non-tech companies, John Deere's not a tech company, and they were trying to get into the subscription. So you're going to start seeing this a lot more. Tesla is a tech company. Tesla is a tech company who happens to make cars. And that's why Elon was smart enough to understand the open source from the beginning. He's part of PayPal Mafia. He understands the internet and how it runs, right? Him and Mark Cuban were together in the beginning stages of PayPal, and Mark Cuban made his fortune on the internet through media distribution and streaming. So Elon's connected. He understands, and he did it right. John Deere did it wrong, and is going to be made an example of, so that all these other companies that have these smart cars, like Chevy, which I like, I drive a 23 Silverado, and I love it. It's great. It's a great truck. And I have been keeping an eye on it, because it'll send me push notifications. It'll do all kinds of things to say, hey, you can have this service. Do you want to order parts? Do you want to do all this stuff? It's cool and helpful, so long as you're not my only option to do it. Like if I want to change my own oil, I should be able to do it. And this is the first instance that we've seen in the automotive or engine, small engine, where it's been locked. So I wanted to bring it up. Keep an eye on it. It won't be the last time we talk about it for sure. And I think that we'll start to see more of these. I really do.
Software Freedom Conservancy.
Yeah. All right, let's get into low code, no code. I know you have that article pulled up, right?
Yeah. Copilot.
Copilot.
Introducing Microsoft 365 Copilot, your Copilot for work.
So Copilot is a way to integrate
AI.
Yeah, I was going to say ChatGPT, but ChatGPT is built on OpenAI.
Yep.
And this is
I think that's how they market it anyways.
Right. This
AI.
is the foundation behind OpenAI and Microsoft's AI platform built just into Power Apps, Power Portal, as well as other applications, I believe, right? Word, Excel.
It says here, Copilot combines the power of large language models with your data in the Microsoft Graph, your calendar, emails, chats, documents, meetings, and more.
Yeah. Very cool. I think this is Clippy 2.0 or 3.0 Clippy. Do you remember Clippy?
Little paperclip?
Yeah. You'd be like, I see that you're writing a resume. This is Clippy on steroids, which Microsoft, if you're listening to this, make Copilot Clippy, please. God, that would be so amazing. If Clippy could just talk to me and
Clippy in like a pilot hat.
That would be so great. I would be so happy. If you bring back Clippy and just have him the Copilot, Clippy is Copilot.
That's great.
It would be so great. That would be so amazing. This is Clippy 2.3.5.0.
Right, and it sounded like from the video I was watching, it has the kind of functionality of ChatGPT in that it can scan things.
Right.
Right, so you can say, look over all these meeting notes, and then make me a 10-page PowerPoint.
Right. Out of your meeting notes, or
and it'll do it.
summarize
or prepare
this.
me for this meeting,
right.
And it'll give you note points. Or, oh, hey, like, I see that you came to this meeting late.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, here's the transcript, and let me summarize that for you.
This is Cortana meets Clippy meets, this is huge for Microsoft. I don't know if it works. I like the idea behind it. Traditionally, the way that Microsoft does things like this is they'll release it and then put it into beta. I have not seen if this is in beta or if it's a full release yet. The fact there's articles around it, I think, is just because AI is such like a clickbait right now.
Right.
So I don't know if this is in full beta. I do know that Power Virtual Agents, their AI builder, is still in beta, which is what we're building internally. The VA, the VA virtual agent, the bot that we're building, Cloudette.
Yep.
That is built on Power Virtual Agents. So everything that our team is doing right now and building that out for our new employee process, the onboarding process, for sales orders, for support tickets, all of that stuff that we're building in our virtual agent, that's built on Power Virtual Agents, which is part of Power Platform. It's still in beta. It has gone less and less and less expensive. When we first started developing on Power Virtual Agents about 3 years ago, it was $1,000 a month. Now it is $200 a month for unlimited calls. And we have just extended free. So, which we are going to buy it. But you're able to sign up for a free trial right now and extend that free trial until you reach the threshold.
Right. So it does say that it's kind of two separate things. So Copilot is integrated into basically the apps you use every day. So Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams,
Clippy,
Power Apps, whatever.
Yep.
And then Business Chat works across the LLM, which I mentioned was that language.
Yeah.
Large language model. So that's your chats, documents, calendars, emails, meetings, contacts, things like that.
Different servers, Exchange servers. Interesting. So you have the Office bot, the Office application bot, which is Copilot. That's your Clippy 9.0. Then you have the LLM, which is Exchange server and Teams server. So if you say, which is similar to Cortana, where if you ask Cortana now and you say, hey Cortana, what meetings do I have coming up? It'll answer you so long as you're connected to your 365. That's basically just a built-in 365 Cortana, which I'll be interested to see if they brand it as Cortana. Because if they brand it as Cortana, then they're sticking to their brand. If they're branding as something else, then I see it as an app function that's still in beta. So that's something to keep an eye on, because when all of the way that Microsoft does with their applications is they split them off. Okay, you'll see right now Microsoft Lists. It used to be SharePoint Lists. Now it's just Microsoft Lists. Then you have Microsoft Forms. It used to be SharePoint Forms. Now you have Microsoft Forms. So these applications, these new applications, are split off into these satellite apps. And they do that so that they can pigeonhole and work on them and run through the DevOps process and really develop a use case for them and market them at the same time before bringing them back into an umbrella. You saw the same thing with Dynamics. So Dynamics was CRM, it was on-premise. Then when they brought Dynamics to 365, they kept the Dynamics name, even though it's not really Dynamics anymore. It's Power Apps. It's Power Apps, model-driven apps. And they're slowly moving you into the idea that this is no longer Dynamics, it's model-driven Power Apps. You have Dynamics 365. They got rid of the customer engagement license. So now it's called like Sales Enterprise or something like that. So like they're changing their licensing model, and they're actually making it cheaper to get the price per user or price per app licenses than Dynamics licenses. And the reason why they're cheaper is because Dynamics 365 are just pre-built templates. So they're like, you can have this pre-built template for, $20, $30 more a user, or you can just pay per the user and then customize and build your own internal CRM. What do you want to do? And when it comes down to price costing like that, most people are going to go cheap. Over easy. And so you're slowly going to see Dynamics transition back into the model-driven apps, or over to model-driven apps, I should say, because they wanted to maintain the Dynamics brand, because everybody knows what that is. Because if they got rid of Dynamics branding, then people would be like, oh, well, Microsoft doesn't have a CRM anymore. No, they do. It's just model-driven Power Apps now, and you can build apps. So the fact that it's called Copilot and not Cortana, to me, means they're still messing with it, and they don't want to throw it into Cortana until it's ready. I could be wrong. It could go the other way. It could go Copilot, Cortana becomes Copilot. I doubt it, because Cortana is a brand that they have pushed so hard with Xbox, Windows, just everywhere.
She keeps coming on my computer
all the time. Yeah.
I'm sorry. What are you saying? I don't
What
want
was
you
that?
on.
Oh, no. Shh, go away. So yeah, very cool. My developer friends out there, it's really cool because you can mess with it within Power Apps, and it can help you build an app.
Right. So even lower than low code.
It is.
You can say, so the video I was watching today, April Dunham, she had it in there basically, and she said, I want an app that helps me track people coming to my office. Right. And then it brings us to this Dataverse table and makes all of these categories, right, that she would need. First name, last name, how long, phone number, why they're coming, etc. Okay, I want this to split up into, or I want the name portion to split up into first name, last name. I want this to be the primary one. And I want it to look like all my other apps. Through
a template. Here's the thing.
Within, 5 minutes.
This sounds awesome, and it is awesome. Okay? All my developer friends out there, you should be scared. You should have been scared 5 years ago, which is why 7 years ago I started my own company. I saw this coming, and I was like, you know what? We build SharePoint applications. We do architecture. I see the future as Power Apps. I'm going to start a company, and we're going to build Power Apps. That was 7 years ago. We've been building Power Apps since 2017. Like, we crush Power Apps, okay? 2016, 2017. 2016 is when we founded. 2017 is when we really started pushing out Power Apps to enterprise organizations, okay? We're ahead of the curve on this. We're also doing that same thing now. What's the next 5 to 7 years? And I'll say the next 5 to 7 years is low code, no code. So all of my traditional C# developers and stuff like that, there's going to be a lot less use for you. There'll still be a use for you because, like I've mentioned, I do believe at some point we're going to tip back to an on-premise server. It's going to be cheaper to maintain your on-premise server. And people always call me crazy. Like, why do you say that? Why do you think it's going to be cheaper to own a server? Is because of this. So this is really cool. it'll be able to spin you up and build you apps very quickly. Okay? But what you just said was, hey, build me this and I'll create a Dataverse table for you. Dataverse is expensive as hell. And you only get a certain free amount of it. Even with Power Premium, which is what we have right now. The other day, so we have 6 model-driven apps and maybe 50 Canvas apps running in our environment. That's a rough estimate. I have no idea. It could be more, it could be less. And we are a 15-person company. And our Dataverse, I get pings all the time from Microsoft. Your Dataverse is running out. Buy more. Oh, and then if you don't have any developers on staff, I do. But if you don't have any developers on staff that know what that means, you're just going to click buy. Just like you did with your Apple iCloud storage. Buy, buy, buy. And soon you're going to be paying out the ass for Dataverse because, well, we don't have any developers. Why would we need a developer? We have Copilot. Copilot's our developer. When things break, companies like us who do managed services, Power Platform, and go in and fix your car, like the whole John Deere thing, right? If you're John Deere, if you can't change your own oil and you got to go somebody, that oil change went from a $9 oil change to a $100 oil change real quick.
Is it oil?
Oil. You don't like that? Oil. Anyone who drives like a Cadillac knows that an oil change is $100 and some just because it's a Cadillac.
Oh yeah, as you say.
Have you ever seen my dad drove a CTS, and his
I don't even know what that is.
It's a Cadillac car, and his brake light went out. You're like, bulb, $3. I'll go to Advanced Auto Parts, right? No, you have to replace the entire left side of his bumper.
Yeah.
It was hundreds of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're looking at next for cloud. It's like, well, the Copilot built me up like 7 data tables in Dataverse, and it built me out these apps, and now I'm at data capacity, and I have no choice but to extend. And then people who understand it are going to be sitting over here and go, well, you can pay for me.
Right.
I might cost a little bit more, but I'll fix it. Or eventually companies are going to get fed up and they're going to move to on-prem. So that's the future. That's what we're looking at. I hope you guys got a lot out of this because I nerd out on this stuff.
It is super cool.
Yeah, so we're looking into it. If you have any questions about it, go to capitalpresence.com, hit us up. We will talk you through Dataverse. We are experts at this. I don't like to use that word, but the government calls me a SME, and they call me an architect. So
you're a pirate.
I will shmee. I'll help you through it. Guys, thanks for hanging out. Until next time, Sydney, you got anything?
That's it.
All right. See you.
See ya.
Hey there. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for all the latest videos from Capital Presence.